1980s were a golden era for rock, filled with household names like Bon Jovi, Van Halen, and Guns N' Roses. But for every band that lit up the charts, there were dozens more who had the talent, the sound, and the look, but somehow never got their due. Some were ahead of their time, others got caught in the shifting tides of the music industry, and a few just vanished. Let's uncover 10 forgotten 80s rock bands that had the talent, but unfortunately disappeared without a trace. Icon. Icon hailing from Phoenix, Arizona, Icon burst onto the scene with a self-titled debut album in 1984 that blended melodic hooks with heavy riffs. Songs like On Your Feet and Rock On Through the Night had the polish of arena rock with the grit of heavy metal. Despite their powerful sound and solid songwriting, Icon struggled with label support and lineup changes. They never broke into the mainstream, but their music holds up as a hidden treasure for fans of bands like Dokken and Judas Priest. Aldo Nova.
Out of sight by your kids from the man in the white.
You might know the name from his 1982 hit Fantasy, but Aldo Nova was much more than a one-hit wonder. His blend of sci-fi-inspired lyrics, soaring vocals, and virtuoso guitar work was unique for the time. His self-titled debut was ahead of its time, merging synth-driven textures with hard rock energy. Despite his talent, Aldo Nova never quite achieved the rock star status he deserved. He later went on to write for artists like Bon Jovi and Celine Dion, but his solo work still deserves more love. Hags. With a name that didn't exactly scream commercial appeal, Hags were a San Francisco-based band that combined sleaze, blues, and hard rock into something raw and real. Their 1989 self-titled album was gritty, emotional, and packed with swagger. Tracks like Half the Way Valley and Doghouse captured the energy of Guns N' Roses with a darker, more brooding edge. Sadly, internal issues and the tragic death of bassist Chris Schlosshart ended the band's run far too soon. Blue Murder. Founded by ex-Whitesnake guitarist John Sykes, Blue Murder had all the ingredients for success: a virtuoso guitarist, big hooks, and polished production. Their 1989 debut featured tracks like Valley of the Kings and Jelly Roll, blending heavy blues-based riffs with melodic sensibilities. Despite critical acclaim and a strong following in Japan, Blue Murder struggled to gain traction in the US market. Still, their album is a must-listen for fans of Whitesnake, Thin Lizzy, and Badlands. Tora Tora. Coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, Tora Tora mixed southern rock grit with late 80s glam metal polish. Their debut, Surprise Attack, 1989, featured infectious songs like Walkin' Shoes and Guilty. Their music combined big choruses, slick production, and bluesy swagger. But just as they were picking up steam, grunge hit. And like many of their peers, Tora Tora quickly found themselves pushed aside. Still, their albums remain fan favorites among die-hard hard rock lovers. Dirty Looks. Dirty Looks were often called the American AC/DC, and it's not hard to see why. With driving riffs, gritty vocals, and a raw, no-frills approach to hard rock, they had an edge that stood out. Their 1988 album Cool from the Wire featured tracks like Oh Ruby and It's Not the Way You Rock that delivered straight-up rock without any gimmicks. Despite cult status and strong live performances, they never cracked the mainstream. Dirty Looks is pure rock and roll that deserves more ears. Kings of the Sun. From Australia came Kings of the Sun, a band with a unique blend of rockabilly swagger and hard rock punch. Their 1988 self-titled debut was loud, cocky, and full of attitude. Tracks like Serpentine and Black Leather screamed for MTV airplay. But the band's rebellious attitude and refusal to play by the rules likely hurt their chances at wider success. Still, their energy and originality made them stand out in a sea of clones. Warrior. Warrior was a Los Angeles metal band that had everything going for them: a killer sound, great production, and a futuristic aesthetic. Their 1985 debut, Fighting for the Earth, was heavy, melodic, and incredibly tight. Tracks like the title song and Defenders of Creation showcased a blend of traditional metal and progressive flair. They were adored in Europe and Japan, but ignored in the US. Warrior was ahead of their time, and they still sound fresh today. Blackfoot. Blackfoot had their roots in Southern rock, but in the 80s they leaned heavily into hard rock and metal. Albums like Siogo and Vertical Smiles featured sharp guitar work, soaring vocals, and a harder edge than their earlier releases. They brought in former Uriah Heep keyboardist Ken Hensley to add even more depth to their sound. Despite their pedigree and consistent quality, they never broke through to the hair metal crowd. They remain one of Southern rock's most underrated exports. Heaven. This Australian band brought a traditional metal sound to the 80s glam scene. Their 1983 album Where Angels Fear to Tread had all the right ingredients: strong vocals, big riffs, and anthemic songwriting. They even toured with Judas Priest and Kiss, but never broke big. Heaven's mix of metal and melody puts them right up there with early Saxon and Accept. Their legacy lives on in the hearts of true metalheads who remember the real underground heroes. These bands might not have sold millions of records or headlined massive stadium tours, but they had the heart, the hooks, and the talent to stand with the best of the decade. Their music still rocks. It's just waiting to be rediscovered. If you love finding new bands, lost legends, and deep dives into rock history, hit that like button and subscribe to RockTube. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers and bring these forgotten bands back into the spotlight where they belong. Drop your favorite underrated band from the 80s in the comments. Let's talk rock,